He pressed the brush into the wood until his fingers went numb. The water in the bucket had turned gray, then black, then clear again, but he kept scrubbing like something was still there. His breath came slow and rough. His knees ached from the hard floor. He leaned closer, squinting at the same patch of wood. Scrub harder. His jaw tightened. I am. Then why's it still there? He paused. Looked. Nothing. Just clean boards. It's not. Liar. His hand shook. The brush dragged again, slower this time, like he was trying to erase something deeper than the surface. You buried it. I buried them. You buried nothing. He slammed the bucket. Water spilled across the floor and ran into the cracks between the boards. He stared at it, breathing harder now. Shut up. You hear them too. He froze. The cabin held still around him. No wind. No birds. Just that quiet that pressed into the ears. Then came the knock. Soft. Hollow. Not on the door. Under the floor. His eyes dropped slowly. Don't open it, he whispered. Open it. The voice didn't sound like his. The knock came again. 2 taps. Then 3. Then something like scratching. He leaned forward without meaning to. His hand rested flat on the wood. Papa? The word hit him like a blow. His fingers curled. No. Papa, it's cold. His throat tightened. He shook his head, but his body didn't move. No. We're here. 2 voices now. Small. Thin. Close. He pushed himself back, dragging the brush with him. No. No, no. You left us. I didn't. You did. He covered his ears. The voices didn't fade. I didn't have a choice. You chose. Silence dropped hard after that. The kind that rings. Then the scratching came back, louder now, like nails dragging under the boards. He stared at the corner of the room where the floor dipped just slightly. He had always told himself it was old wood. Warped from time. Nothing more. But now it moved. Just a little. His chest rose and fell faster. You're not real. Then why are you scared? He didn't answer. The knock came again, sharper this time. Right under his knees. Papa, please. His eyes burned. He reached for the bucket, then stopped. His hand hovered, unsure what he meant to do with it. You cleaned for us. The other voice sounded softer. Almost kind. We came back. He swallowed hard. You're not them. Say our names. The words cut deeper than anything else. He opened his mouth. Nothing came out. I can't. You forgot. I didn't forget. You always forget. He shook his head, harder now, like he could knock something loose inside it. I didn't forget. The floor creaked under him. A long, slow sound. He looked down again. The boards shifted. Not much. Just enough. Something tapped from below. Once. Twice. Then dragged across the underside like it was feeling for a way out. His breath caught. Something else is down there, he whispered. Silence answered him. Then both voices spoke together. Yes. His stomach dropped. No. You didn't bury it deep enough. He pushed himself to his feet too fast and stumbled back into the table. It rattled hard. A plate slid and shattered on the floor. I buried everything. No. You buried us shallow. His back hit the wall. He stayed there, staring at the floor like it might open all the way. You're not them, he said again, softer this time. Then why are you still here? He didn't know. The scratching stopped. That was worse. The quiet came back, thicker now. Waiting. He looked toward the corner where the axe leaned against the wall. He had left it there days ago. Maybe weeks. He didn't remember. Don't, one voice whispered. You know what's under there, the other said. His feet moved anyway. I know what I put there. His hand wrapped around the handle. It felt heavier than he remembered. Or maybe his arms were weaker. The floor gave another small creak. Like something shifting beneath it. Like something listening. Papa. His grip tightened. He stepped forward slowly, eyes locked on the boards that wouldn't stay still in his mind. The axe head lowered toward the seam between them. Open it. His breath shook. Don't open it. He stood there, caught between the two voices, the weight of the axe pulling him down. Then the knocking came again. Louder. Faster. Right under his feet. Papa, please. His jaw clenched. And without letting himself think any longer, he drove the axe into the floor. The axe head stuck deep between the boards, the impact ringing through his arms and into his chest. The wood groaned like it didn't want to break. He pulled back hard, splinters tearing loose as the blade came free. Dust rose in a dry cloud. The knocking stopped for a second. Then it came back, faster now, like something new he had started. Stop. His breath shook. I can't. You know what's under there. I know what I put there. He swung again. The blade split the seam wider this time. A crack opened, thin but real. Cold air pushed up through it, touching his face. It smelled wrong. Damp. Old. Papa. We're here. The voices came clearer now. Not muffled. Not distant. Right below him. His hands tightened on the handle. No. You left us. I didn't have a choice. You chose. He froze. The axe hovered in the air. Then the wood beneath his feet gave a soft pop. A piece broke loose. Darkness showed through. He dropped to his knees and shoved the axe into the gap again, prying the boards apart with both hands now. The nails screamed as they pulled free. One plank snapped in half. Another lifted just enough for him to get his fingers under it. Stop, one voice whispered. Open it, the other urged. He tore the plank up. A hollow space yawned beneath the cabin. Dirt walls. Packed earth. A shallow pit that should not have been empty. The knocking stopped. The crying didn't. Papa. His throat went dry. I buried you here. We're still here. He leaned closer, squinting into the dark. There was nothing. No shapes. No movement. Just a hole where something used to be. They're gone, he said. They were never there. He flinched. The voice didn't come from below. It came from behind him. He turned slowly. They stood near the table. Side by side. Same height. Same thin arms hanging loose. Same pale faces that didn't seem to carry any dirt or time on them. You came back, one said. You cleaned for us, the other added. His grip on the axe loosened. The handle slipped slightly in his palm. You're not real. They tilted their heads the same way, like a mirror that didn't need reflection. You forgot our names. Say them. His mouth opened. His mind went blank. He searched hard, pushing through the noise in his head, through the old images that wouldn't stay still. Nothing came. I can't. They stepped forward together. Bare feet quiet on the wood. That's okay. You forgot before too. His back hit the edge of the table. No. I didn't forget. You always forget. His voice broke. Stop saying that. Then remember. I'm trying. They were closer now. Close enough that he could see their eyes. Too still. Too clear. What are your names? He asked. They smiled. You tell us. I don't know. That's why we call you Papa. His chest tightened hard. Don't call me that. But you are. No. You buried us. I didn't. You did. His hand lifted slightly, like he might reach for them, then stopped in the air. You're not them. Then why are you scared? He had no answer. The hole behind him let out a faint sound. Not a knock this time. Something softer. Like breath moving through dirt. He turned his head just enough to listen. The twins didn't look back. They kept their eyes on him. Something else is down there, he whispered. They nodded together. Yes. It was there with us. His heart pounded harder. No. It was hungry. His grip tightened again on the axe, though he didn't raise it. I didn't know. You didn't look. Silence filled the room again. Thick. Heavy. The hole seemed deeper now. Darker than it should be for something so shallow. He stepped away from the table, drawn back toward it without meaning to. The twins followed one step behind him. Don't go close, one said softly. It remembers you, the other added. He stopped at the edge and stared down. What is it? They didn't answer right away. Instead, they reached for him. Small hands closing around his fingers. Cold. Too cold. He flinched but didn't pull away. You came back, one whispered. You won't leave again, the other said. His chest rose slow, uneven. I didn't come back for you. They squeezed his hands tighter. Yes, you did. He tried to pull away. He couldn't. Not because they were strong. Because he wasn't. His grip tightened without his permission. Like he was afraid they would disappear if he let go. He looked down at their hands wrapped around his. Then back at their faces. You're not them, he said again, but quieter now. They smiled. Then let go. He didn't. The hole behind him breathed once more. And this time, it sounded like it was listening. He sat at the rough wooden table, elbows digging into the worn surface, staring at the twins across from him. They ate silently, picking at scraps of bread that didn't seem to lessen on the plate, like the food itself was part of the illusion. Their eyes never left his. He wanted to ask questions, but the words caught in his throat. He swallowed hard and leaned back, trying to measure the space between what he remembered and what sat before him now. What's your name? He asked finally, his voice brittle. You tell us, one said. I don't remember. They exchanged a glance, small smiles flickering. That's okay, the other said. You forgot before too. His hands clenched. I didn't forget. You always forget, they said together. The words pressed in, sharper than the walls around them. He stood abruptly, the chair scraping loud across the floor. Where did you come from? From where you left us, one whispered. That place is gone. No, Papa, the other corrected. It's under your feet. He looked down. The floorboards lay still, clean. But the memory of what rested beneath pressed through him like ice. I buried everything, he said. You hear it, one twin said softly. It scratches. He could feel it. Something shifting just under the boards. The hairs on his neck rose. Something else is down there, he asked. Yes, both said at once. Something you didn't bury deep enough. He took a shaky step back. I buried everything. I thought I did. No, they said again. You left it shallow. He gripped the table, knuckles white. You're not them, he said, voice low, almost pleading. Then why are you scared? They asked, voices soft but certain. He froze. Their words dug into him, tore open corners of memory he hadn't wanted to visit. He wanted to run, wanted to slam the cabin door and leave the past buried, but his feet wouldn't move. He couldn't escape what he had done. He looked at them. Their eyes, pale and endless, held his attention like gravity. His voice faltered. I already did. You forgot our names, they whispered. He swallowed. I can't remember. You can try, one said. You always try. I did try, he said, almost to himself. I tried everything. You didn't see, the other said. You didn't look. He swallowed again, dry. I buried them. Buried everything. You buried us shallow, they repeated. The room went quiet. Only the boards beneath creaked slightly, an almost imperceptible sound. He wanted to argue, to make them leave, to prove to himself that none of this was real. Instead, he felt a tug, invisible, from the hollow beneath. Something waited there. Something patient. He flinched. You're not them, he whispered again. Then why do you keep looking, they said in unison. Why do you bend your head over the floor and check? He pressed his palms to the table, closing his eyes, trying to keep himself steady. I can't. I can't forget you. The twins tilted their heads the same way they had before, the small gesture striking him with an unbearable familiarity. Then call us something else, one said. If you can't remember. Papa, he muttered, the word foreign and terrible on his tongue. I'm not. You are, they said together. They smiled, just enough to unsettle him, to draw the cold knot deeper into his chest. He dropped his gaze. I didn't know what to do. You didn't look, they said. His body tightened, knees pressed to the floor, fists on the wood. The floorboards beneath him shifted imperceptibly. He heard the faint scratching again, soft but certain, rising from below, like something breathing under the cabin. His throat went dry. You fed it, one twin said quietly, almost accusing. No, he said, shaking his head. I didn't feed anything. Yes, the other said. With us. He backed away instinctively. I didn't know. You didn't look, they said again, and he felt the weight of the words like stones pressing into his chest. He stood trembling, chest rising and falling fast, the twins still in front of him, their hands folded neatly, silent. Their eyes, pale and unwavering, held him. I didn't forget. You chose not to remember, they whispered together. He felt the cold crawl under his skin. I buried everything. You left us shallow, they said. The faint scratching grew louder under the floor, soft but insistent, like the heartbeat of the hollow beneath the boards. He glanced down. Nothing. Just the floor. Just the clean boards he had fought to scrub. Yet the memory of it, of what lay beneath, pulsed in his chest like a living thing. You're afraid, one said. Yes, he admitted. I'm afraid. You should be, they whispered. He stumbled backward toward the table again. His fingers gripped the edge. I can't fix it. You can try, one said. You always try. His shoulders slumped. The axe he had left propped in the corner loomed at the edge of his vision. His breath came short and sharp. The twins didn't move. They waited. Silent, pale, patient. He closed his eyes. I already failed. You didn't look, they whispered again. He opened his eyes slowly. I can't forget you. You try, they said. I am, he said, voice cracking. I am trying. The floor creaked again. Just a little, but enough to remind him of the hollow beneath. Something alive. Something he had tried to ignore. He wanted to reach out, to touch them, to feel that they were real, but his hands hovered. I can't, he said. I can't name you. I can't call you. You don't need to, they said. Papa will do. He swallowed, hard. The word stuck, sour in his mouth, but he let it pass. "Papa," he said again, softer this time. "Yes," they whispered. "That's enough." The hollow beneath the floor shifted again. Something moved. Waiting. Watching. He didn't look down. He didn't dare. He only felt it, the weight of what had been left, the weight of what he had tried to bury, and the weight of the small hands holding his own. The twins smiled up at him, still pale, still silent but sure, as if they had always been there, as if he had never been allowed to forget. The knock on the cabin door came sharp, demanding. He froze, hands still trembling from the hollow beneath the floor. The twins pressed closer, one gripping his sleeve, the other brushing against his back. Their pale eyes stayed on him, unwavering. The knock came again, louder this time. "Open up," a gruff voice barked. He swallowed, trying to steady himself. "Don't," one twin whispered. "He'll take us." "He'll take us," the other echoed, a soft mirror of the warning. The mountain man didn't move. He hadn't seen the sheriff in months, maybe a year. He wasn't sure anymore. Every memory seemed layered with the dust of the cabin, warped and thin. The door rattled. "I said open up." The voice cracked, sharp as a whip. "I don't go to town," he muttered, voice low. "I never go." The door swung open anyway. The sheriff leaned in, tall, worn coat flaring slightly in the doorway. Eyes sharp, scanning the cabin like he expected trouble to crawl from the walls. "You missed court again," the sheriff said. His gaze flicked to the table, to the twins. "You been talking to yourself?" "No," the mountain man said, jaw tight. His fingers itched toward the axe in the corner, though he didn't move. "You got kids in here?" the sheriff asked, frowning. The twins stood behind the mountain man, silent, hands folded, expressions blank. "No," he said again. "Then who said Papa?" The sheriff leaned closer, squinting. "No one," he whispered. The sheriff's eyes narrowed, scanning every corner, every shadow. "You still digging at night?" "No." "I hear things carry up the hill," the sheriff said, tone low, almost conspiratorial. "You don't bury wind." The twins whispered behind him. "He knows." "He'll open it," the other added. "Stop," the mountain man muttered. His voice barely audible. Don't say that." The sheriff's eyes sharpened. "Who you talking to?" "Myself," he said, the word hollow. A long pause. The twins were silent, still, watching. The air felt heavier, like it pressed down from the ceiling, from the boards beneath the floor. "You got ghosts, man," the sheriff said finally. "You're talking to ghosts." "I got nothing," he said. The sheriff shook his head. "I'll be back." He stepped toward the door. "Don't," the mountain man said, panic threading his words. The sheriff froze, hand on the latch. "You don't get to decide that." He left. The door shut behind him with a hard snap. Silence filled the room. Only the creak of the floor underfoot marked the quiet. The twins tilted their heads, still pale, still silent. Their eyes lingered on him. "He knows," one whispered. "He'll be back," the other said. The mountain man's shoulders slumped. His hands itched to sweep the floor again, to scrub away something he couldn't see. The boards under his feet felt alive, pressing back with a quiet insistence. "You're not safe," the first twin said softly, a finger pointing at the hollow beneath the floor. "I know," he muttered, voice low, almost to himself. "You buried us shallow," the second twin said. "You left it there." He stared down at the clean wood. Everything looked ordinary, but he knew better. He could feel the weight underfoot. Something hungry. Something patient. Something waiting. The silence stretched, thick and tense. He clenched his fists. He could hear the faintest scratching again, soft, deliberate, under the boards. It made his chest tighten. "They'll come back," one twin whispered. "They always come back," the other added. He shook his head. "Not this time," he said, but even as he spoke, he didn't believe it. The floor groaned slightly, as if reminding him of what had been left, of what could still rise from the hollow beneath. The twins smiled faintly, almost imperceptibly, and stepped closer, hands brushing his arms. Their presence grounded him, yet warned him too. The scratching beneath the floor grew a little louder. He could feel it through his feet. The hollow was awake again. The silence of the cabin had ended, replaced by the quiet knowledge that something waited, patient and aware. He stared down, hands trembling, unsure whether to face it or bury it again. The sheriff's words echoed in his head, sharp and accusing. "You don't bury wind." He pressed his palms to the table, leaning heavily, and muttered under his breath, "I buried them. I buried everything." Yes, the twins whispered together, and the hollow beneath the floor seemed to respond with a soft, deliberate shift, as if acknowledging him. He took a slow, shuddering breath. The cabin was quiet now, only the faint scrape and breath of the hollow underfoot. He didn't know if the sheriff would return, or if the thing beneath would rise, or if the twins were real, or ghosts, or something else entirely. He only knew he couldn't leave. Not now. Not ever. The twins squeezed his hands lightly, small anchors in the room thick with uncertainty. He swallowed hard, the taste of fear bitter in his mouth. "I'm still here," he whispered. "I can't leave." The hollow shifted once more beneath the floor, responding softly, patient and alive. He tightened his grip on the table, and for the first time, he let the weight of it all settle in. The sheriff might come back. The hollow might stir. But he was not leaving. Not this time. The floorboards under his feet bulged slightly, a slow, subtle movement that made his stomach coil. He froze, hands tight on the edge of the table, eyes scanning the cabin. The twins were quiet now, standing close, faces pale but still, watching him. The faint scratching from beneath the floor had grown louder over the past few minutes. It was deliberate now, a rhythm, a heartbeat, a presence. "Do you hear it?" one twin whispered, voice trembling slightly. "Yes," the other said. "It's waking up." He clenched his jaw, fingers digging into the table. "I'll finish it," he said, almost to himself. His voice was low but firm, like a promise to the empty space beneath. "You never finished it," one twin said softly, stepping closer. "You left it hungry." His eyes darted down to the boards. They looked smooth. Clean. But he could feel the weight beneath, alive and patient. "I buried everything," he said. "You fed it," the other twin whispered. "What?" His throat went dry. "I didn't feed anything." "Yes," one twin said. "With us." He shook his head sharply. No, he tried to step back, but his feet felt heavy, as if the cabin itself held him in place. The hollow beneath responded immediately, a low, wet sound, almost a breath rising up through the floor. "It was dark," the first twin said softly. "And it was hungry." He swallowed hard, chest rising fast. "I didn't know." "You didn't look," they said together. The scratching grew more urgent, louder now, as if impatient with his hesitation. He dropped the axe, stepping back toward the wall. His eyes stayed on the hollow, a deep darkness just under the boards, a darkness that pulsed as though aware of him. One hand pushed through the dirt at the edge of the hole. Not small. Not human. The fingers curved, wet and glistening in the faint light. His stomach turned. His knees gave out, and he stumbled backward, heart pounding. "That wasn't there before," he whispered. "It was always there," the twins said together. "Waiting." "You fed it," one twin said again. "With us." "No," he said, voice breaking. "I didn't feed anything." "Yes," the other twin repeated. "And now it's awake." He gripped the edge of the table, knuckles white, heart hammering. "I buried it. I left nothing." "You left us with it," they said softly. His chest tightened, breaths coming short and shallow. "I didn't know." "Then look," one said. "Now." The hand withdrew slowly, leaving the dirt unsettled. The hollow beneath was silent, but the threat lingered like a storm on the horizon. You're too late, the twins said softly. It remembers. His head shook violently. What is it? Family, they whispered in unison. Something you fed, something you buried shallow. Something that never left. He pressed a shaking hand to his forehead. I buried everything. You didn't, the twins said together. You left it there. With us. The air in the cabin grew heavy. Even the fire in the corner seemed to dim. The twins stepped closer, their small bodies casting long shadows over the floor. The hollow beneath shifted again, responding to their words, to his fear, to his failure. It's hungry, one twin whispered. It wants what was never truly buried. He shook his head, unable to meet their eyes. I can't face it. You must, the other twin said. Or it will keep waiting. A low exhale came from the hollow, wet and deliberate. Something alive, something patient. It breathed like a thing that had grown in the dark for years, a thing he had helped shape. I didn't know, he said again, voice barely above a whisper. I thought I left it behind. You left us, the twins said softly. And it stayed. The floor creaked again. The hollow shifted beneath, a subtle, deliberate movement, a warning. He could feel it in the soles of his feet, a cold pulse traveling up his legs. One twin stepped forward, hand brushing his arm. Papa, they whispered. It's here now. It knows you. It waits for you. He swallowed, chest rising sharply. Then what do I do? Face it, they said together. Stand with us. He glanced down at the boards. Smooth. Clean. Ordinary. And beneath them, alive, a presence patient, deliberate, and hungry. His hand trembled as he reached toward the edge of the hollow. The twins' small hands pressed against his back, steadying him. I'm here, he said. I'm not leaving. The hollow shifted again, a subtle, wet sound. Breath, almost. Waiting. The twins whispered together. It knows you now. He nodded slowly. Then I'll stay. The presence beneath the floor pulsed again, deliberate and aware. His knuckles whitened as he clenched his fists, bracing himself. He did not step away. He could not. The cabin was still, except for the faint sound of the hollow moving beneath. The twins' pale eyes watched him closely, patient, unwavering. He looked at them. I'm not leaving, he said again. The low exhale from the hollow responded, almost approving. The boards beneath remained smooth, but he felt the weight, the patience, the hunger. He swallowed hard and took a deep, steadying breath. He would face it. He would stay. The twins pressed closer, hands brushing against his arms, small anchors in the heavy air. Papa, they whispered. It waits, but we are here. His chest rose and fell with effort. I'm not going anywhere. The hollow beneath the floor shifted once more, deliberate and alive, but he didn't flinch. The twins smiled faintly, and he met their gaze. Then we face it together. And for the first time, he did not look away. The door creaked again, just slightly, like someone testing the hinges. He froze, hand hovering over the axe. The twins pressed close, one on each side, their small frames steady against his legs. The hollow beneath the floor exhaled slowly, almost in rhythm with his heartbeat. Papa, one twin whispered. He's coming back. I know, he said, jaw tight. The sheriff. Doesn't matter, the other said softly. It waits anyway. He swallowed hard, eyes fixed on the doorway. The cabin smelled of damp wood, of dust and old fire. He had scrubbed every corner, every floorboard, but the weight of the hollow still pressed upward, alive beneath him. A shadow fell across the doorway. The sheriff's tall figure loomed, hat pulled low, coat stiff and worn. His eyes swept the cabin, sharp, measuring. You hear, the sheriff barked. His voice carried suspicion, like a whip. Yes, the mountain man muttered. I'm here. You still got them in here, the sheriff asked, glancing past him. The twins didn't flinch, didn't move. Pale and silent, they watched. "No," he said. "No one here." "Don't lie to me," the sheriff said. His eyes narrowed. "I hear things up the hill. Things scratching, moving." The twins whispered softly between themselves. "He hears it too." "Yes," the other said. "He will see it soon." The mountain man's hands clenched. "I buried everything," he said. "I left nothing." "You buried something shallow," one twin whispered. "Something that stayed." The sheriff's gaze sharpened. "What stayed?" He shook his head, voice low. "Nothing." The floor groaned softly beneath him, subtle, deliberate. The hollow beneath moved again, responding to his words, to the tension in the room, to the unspoken things waiting below. "Show me," the sheriff said, stepping forward. "What are you hiding?" "I'm not hiding anything," he said. "Nothing." "You lie," the sheriff said, leaning closer, voice low but hard. "You always lie." The twins pressed closer, brushing against his legs, their small hands light but insistent. "Don't let him," one whispered. "It waits." "I'm not hiding," he said, louder now. "I'm not leaving." The sheriff's shadow flicked across the floor. "You talk too much," he muttered. "You bury too little." The hollow shifted underfoot. Something alive, deliberate, patient. A soft exhale, wet and low, rose from beneath the boards. The twins whispered together. "It's awake." He pressed his palms to the table, trying to ground himself. "I know." "You always know," the sheriff said, voice sharp. "But you never act." "I act," the mountain man said, voice shaking. "I'm here. I don't leave." "You can't stop it," the sheriff said, tone flat. "It doesn't belong to you." The twins' small hands pressed into his sides. "It belongs under," one whispered. "But we are here." A creak rose from the floor, soft, deliberate. The hollow beneath stirred again. Something alive, patient, aware. "You buried it shallow," the sheriff said, voice low, almost a warning. "And now it's awake." "I didn't know," he said. "I thought I buried everything." "You left it with them," one twin whispered. "With us." The sheriff's eyes flicked to the twins. "Them?" "They wait," the other twin said softly. "They never left." The mountain man's chest tightened. "I can't leave it," he muttered. "I can't leave them." "Then face it," the sheriff said. "Or it will face you." The hollow beneath shifted again, wet and deliberate. Something breathed through the boards, slow and patient. The twins pressed closer, pale and silent, but steady. Their small hands held his arms, a tether, a warning, a promise. "I'm not leaving," he whispered. "I won't leave." The sheriff studied him, eyes hard but uncertain. "Then stand," he said finally. "And see what waits." He nodded slowly, chest rising and falling with effort. The twins whispered together. "Papa," they said. "It knows you now." He swallowed hard. "Then I stay," he said. "I stay with you." The hollow shifted one last time beneath his feet. The boards remained smooth, clean, ordinary, but the weight, the presence, the hunger of what was below pressed into him like a living thing. "We face it," he said, voice low but firm. "Together." The twins smiled faintly, pale faces steady. The sheriff stepped back slightly, uncertain, watching. The cabin held its breath, thick and patient. Something alive waited beneath. And he did not move. He did not look away. He stayed. "We face it," he whispered again, louder this time. "Together." The hollow exhaled, deliberate, wet, alive. The cabin settled into tense silence. The mountain man held his ground. The twins held his hands. The sheriff remained at the threshold. And the thing beneath waited. Patient. Hungry. Awake. The floor creaked again, a soft, deliberate groan under his feet. He froze, knuckles white on the edge of the table, the twins flanking him like shadows. Their small hands pressed lightly against his arms, grounding him, warning him, reminding him that he could not turn away. The hollow beneath the floor moved, patient, alive, as if aware of every breath, every heartbeat in the room. "It's awake," one twin whispered. "Yes," the other said. "It remembers you." He swallowed hard, chest tight. "I know." A long silence followed. The kind that presses against your ears, makes your own breath feel loud. Then came a soft shift, a hollow moving beneath the boards. Not knocking this time. Not scratching. Just sliding, deliberate, wet. "You buried it shallow," one twin whispered again. "You left it hungry." "I thought I buried everything," he muttered. "I thought I left nothing." "You didn't see," the other twin said softly. "You never looked." The mountain man's hands trembled on the table. He swallowed, trying to steady himself. "I can't leave," he said. "I won't leave." The hollow exhaled beneath him, slow, wet, patient. It responded to his fear, to his hesitation, to the weight of what he had done. The twins pressed closer, small bodies framing him, pale faces calm but certain. "Papa," they whispered. "It knows you." "I know," he repeated, voice low, almost a prayer. "I'm here." The floor groaned louder, subtle but distinct. Something shifted beneath the boards. A hand, wet and pale, reached up for a second before withdrawing into the dark. He could feel the hollow pressing against the soles of his feet. It was patient, deliberate, waiting for him to act. "You can't stop it," one twin said softly. "But you can face it." "I can't," he whispered. "I don't know how." "You buried us with it," the other said. "It waits, yes, but it listens too." He pressed his forehead to the table. "I buried everything." "You left it shallow," they said together. "You left it hungry." The mountain man shook his head, slow, deliberate. "I didn't know." "You didn't look," one twin whispered. "Not then, not ever." A low, wet exhale rose from the hollow beneath the floor. Something alive, deliberate, aware. The boards didn't move, but the presence pressed against him, heavy and patient. "I see it now," he muttered, voice trembling. "I can't run. I won't run." The twins pressed closer, small hands gripping his arms. "Papa," they whispered. "It knows you, but we are here." The mountain man closed his eyes, chest rising and falling fast. "I face it," he said. "I face it with you." A soft, wet shift came from below. Something alive, patient, deliberate. He could feel it in the soles of his feet, in his knees, in the hollow of his chest. His fingers dug into the table. "I won't leave," he repeated. "I stay." The twins nodded, small smiles flickering, pale faces steady. "We stay," they whispered together. "With you." The hollow moved again, subtle, wet, deliberate. It waited. Patient. Aware. It had been left behind. It had been fed. And now it was awake. "Then we face it," he said, voice low, steadying. "Together." The twins pressed against his sides, hands light but insistent. "Yes," one whispered. "Together." He drew a deep breath, bracing himself. "I am not leaving," he said. "I will stay, no matter what waits." The hollow beneath exhaled once more, wet and deliberate, alive, acknowledging him. It pressed, patient, powerful, waiting for the confrontation he had long avoided. "We face it now," the mountain man said, eyes open, chest rising fast. "We face it together." The twins nodded in unison, small hands on his arms. Pale, patient, steady. The cabin settled into tense silence, only the faint, deliberate movement of the hollow beneath marking the moment. Something waited. Something alive. Something he had helped shape. "We face it," he said again, louder, resolute. "Together." And for the first time, he did not look away. The hollow beneath answered him, patient and awake, as the twins' small hands held his firmly, anchors in the room thick with fear and memory. The mountain man dropped to his knees beside the hole, hands trembling on the boards. The twins leaned close, pale faces inches from his own, watching, waiting. The hollow beneath stirred again, patient, deliberate, a low wet groan rising through the floor. The air in the cabin thickened, warm and damp, like a storm trapped in wood and dust. "I can't see it," he whispered. "I don't know what to do." "You don't need to see it," one twin said softly. "Just face it." "You buried it shallow," the other added. "It remembers everything." He swallowed hard, pressing his palms to the floor. The boards shifted slightly under his weight. The hollow beneath exhaled, slow and deliberate, waiting for him to act. "I'm here," he said, voice low, almost a prayer. "I won't leave." A flicker of movement passed under the boards. Something dark and wet, deliberate, curling just beneath the surface. He could feel it pressing upward, alive, aware. The twins pressed against his sides, hands light but insistent. "Papa," they whispered together. "It waits, but we are here." He drew a sharp breath. "I face it," he said, jaw tight. "With you." A small flame sparked in his mind, a memory from years ago, the old lantern that had lit the cabin on stormy nights. He reached for the wall shelf, found the matchbox, struck one, letting the tiny flame tremble in his hand. The twins watched, wide-eyed. "Fire," one whispered. "It burns." "It's all I have," he muttered, bringing the match to the pile of kindling he had stacked beside the fireplace. The hollow beneath reacted immediately, a low groan vibrating through the boards. The air pressed against his face, wet and heavy. "I can't let it wait any longer," he said. He lit the kindling, fire springing to life with a crackle. Heat washed over the cabin, soft at first, then stronger, alive. The twins pressed close, watching, small hands on his arms. "It knows," one whispered. "It smells it." The hollow beneath moved again, deliberate, patient, wet. Something alive shifted just under the boards, reacting to the fire, to the smoke, to the heat that pressed down from above. "I'm here," he said again. "I face it now." A shadow rose from the hollow, dark and curling, not human, not entirely formless. It pressed upward, patient, deliberate. The firelight flickered across the walls, reflecting off splintered boards, illuminating shapes that had never existed before. The twins did not flinch. They pressed against him, anchors in the storm of fear. "We are here," they whispered. "With you." He stood slowly, heart hammering, firelight dancing across his face. "You won't rise alone," he said to the hollow beneath. "I won't leave you here." The shadow shifted, moving like smoke through the cracks. It smelled damp, old, alive. The hollow breathed through the floor, responding to his fear, his determination, the fire now burning bright. "You buried us," one twin whispered softly. "And it stayed." "I know," he said, voice raw. "I know." The hollow exhaled again, low, deliberate, wet. It pressed upward, curious, aware. The firelight flickered across it, illuminating glimpses of what had been left behind. "I buried everything," he said, voice steadying, "but I'll face it." The twins pressed closer, small hands gripping his arms. "Papa," they whispered. "We face it together." He took a deep breath, eyes fixed on the hollow, chest rising and falling fast. "I am here," he said. "I am not leaving." A low rumble rose from beneath the floorboards. Something alive, deliberate, patient. It moved toward him, pressing against the boards, a presence that had been waiting years, fed by fear, by loss, by neglect. The firelight flickered over the edges of the boards, illuminating shadows that moved like smoke, curling toward him. "We face it," he said again, voice loud, firm. "Together." The twins nodded in unison, small hands steady on his arms. "Yes," they whispered. "Together." The hollow shifted once more, wet and deliberate. The firelight flared, casting long shadows across the cabin walls. The mountain man did not move. He did not turn away. He held the twins' hands, breathed in the heat, listened to the low, patient groan beneath the floor, and waited. "We face it," he repeated, louder this time. "And we do not run." The cabin trembled slightly as if the hollow acknowledged him. The twins smiled faintly, pale and steady, hands pressed against him. The fire roared softly in the hearth. And below the floor, the hollow breathed, deliberate, alive, awake at last. The mountain man knelt again, hands pressed to the boards. The fire in the corner cast shadows that twisted like smoke across the walls. The twins flanked him, silent, pale, unwavering. Beneath the floor, the hollow stirred, wet and deliberate, patient and alive. Every creak of the boards pressed into his chest. "You can name them," one twin whispered softly. "If you want." "I can't," he said, jaw tight, voice low. "I don't remember." "Yes, you can," the other said. "You always try." He swallowed, pressing his forehead to the table. "I don't know their names," he said. "I only know their faces."